What's up everybody, this is Reese here from C Manga and welcome to my review of Fairy Tail Chapter 419, The Message of Flame. So it looks like a new arc has finally been confirmed with this one, and it'll be basically a gathering of the fairies arc. So like I said, obviously a while back we get an arc where Fairy Tail's basically getting put back together. And is it just me, or does this kind of feel a little bit like a rehash of what happened after the 7 year time skip? It's like another amount of time passes. The key members return to find that the guild is in ruins, and then they have to return it to its former glory. Obviously, it wasn't as drastic as it was now because obviously Fairy Tail was still about the weakest. So it was about getting them to become strongest. Now it's about getting them all back together. So yeah, it does kind of feel a little bit like a rehash. But anyway, onto this chapter and what actually happened. So Natsu is put in front of the Jade Princess. I cannot remember what the hell her name is from the Magic Games arc. Obviously this is over what he did at the New Games, blowing up half the friggin' stadium and just basically defeating everyone. When it's like, why are you even here? The only one who kind of like seemed remotely concerned about this whole thing though was the soldiers themselves. Natsu was pretty much involved in saving the world from the dragons at the last bloody game. So, the roles are pretty much, like, they like him, they're indebted to him. And to be honest, they did actually just kind of find the whole situation pretty funny. Because, come on, it's like, Natsu comes back out of nowhere, and then suddenly these guys who say, yeah, we're now the strongest, they all just get their ass handed to them. So, yeah, I would be laughing my ass off as well. So, anyway, yeah, this chapter here is basically just about getting Natsu up to speed with what happened over the past year. How the guild disbanded, everyone going their separate ways. It did kind of get a little bit dark, when Natsu was kind of ranting over how could the guild disband, there were many people who could have taken over, for God's sake. It's like Luxus could have become the new master. And then Lucy kind of just said it outright, it's like, how can he complain about this when he basically just did the exact same thing? He just disappeared without saying a word to anyone, then he expects everyone to be all like, yeah, nothing's happened, everything's still fine. So it's kind of like, that's you don't have a foothold to stand on. You basically just did the exact same thing. But yeah, it's kind of like, obviously, I'm guessing the reason obviously everyone wanted to go off and do their thing is because the whole battle with the Tartarus, it really did take its toll on everyone. It's like, even though they won in the end, it kind of was only just they had to push themselves to their absolute limits to actually win. It's like, Luxus, who Natsu's saying that, oh yeah, he could become the new master. Sure, he has the power to do it, but after his fight with Tempest, he was pretty much out of action for like the whole arc. So he was just like, no, he doesn't want to let that type of thing ever happen again. He's trying to train himself to become stronger. Then you have people like Urza and Grey, they end up reliving their past, like bringing up some trauma back. And it's just like, no, they wanted to go off and defeat their demons essentially. So it basically came down to like everyone kind of realizing that they're not exactly strong enough to kind of go forth with the upcoming battles. Because obviously we know what the new upcoming battles are going to be. You got Agnogia and you got Zeref. We know these two are definitely going to come after Fairy Tail because of Natsu. So yeah, they're basically just going off to fix their own little shortcomings. So there you go. Natsu, he ended up kind of finding out about Lucy's little kind of board where she's been figuring out where everyone is. So he basically pulled a little prank, left a little message on the castle, like Fairy Tail written in flames. Thus we got the message you got the message of flame. So yeah, thanks to that message now, it's like, yep, we're now going to go off on a little adventure to go find everyone. So that's pretty much it. And I'm kind of thinking like, who are they going to go and find first? My guess is obviously Grey, just because of the sole fact that Natsu, Lucy and Grey, they're pretty much rehashes of Musica, Haru and Ellie, from Rave Master. So it's easy to put them all back together. It's like, they're like the old Rave Master crew. So yeah, there you have it. It's like not really too much with this chapter. Another thing I'm kind of wondering now is how long is it going to take to revive Fairy Tail exactly? Because obviously I'm kind of sitting there just waiting for it to kind of just go on to the important battles with Agnogia, with Zeref. They're like some epic upcoming battles, but to be honest, this kind of whole let's put Fairy Tail back together, it just kind of feels like a way of extending the life of this series. When it's like, don't like unnaturally extend something when you don't need to. It's good to let something end on a high than just to bore the crap out of people and then just end it, then just kind of like drops off. So that's my little big problem with mangas, where they kind of just like taper on for too long and then it's just like, oh, no one cares anymore, it drops in rankings and eventually it just gets cancelled. Then it's like, oh man. But yeah, we all know what battles are coming up. It's inevitable. They're going to be epic. So let's just hope that this whole put Fairy Tail back together thing goes quickly, so we can actually move on to those battles. So yeah, that is pretty much everything I can say about this chapter. There wasn't really too much. It was more me just speculating as to what's going to be coming and what I'm foreseeing. So hopefully, like I said, this goes quickly so we can actually get to the good stuff. So yeah, that's about it for this chapter, guys. You know the thing to the end of these. Let me know what you thought about this chapter in the comment section below. And as usual, don't forget to check out the other things to do on the channel. So I'll see you next time.